Welcome to Beyond the Label podcast by the Blue Journal, where we are not defined by labels or society. Prepare to be inspired by guests who went on a non-traditional path, career choices, living abroad, relationships, self-exploration, and more. This is a safe space to be yourself unapologetically with no limits to what we can achieve. Hi everyone, welcome back to Season 2 of Beyond the Label podcast. I am Leanne, your host. I am so glad that you're here today with us, getting inspired and loving yourself more each day. Please share this podcast episode with your friends, your family, or anyone you want to send some positivity to. We really appreciate any type of support. You being here already means so much to us. Please rate, subscribe, and follow our Instagram for your daily dose of self-love. So I'm just going to be honest with you guys here. This podcast is not for profit. So it would be amazing if you can send us a small donation or just share on our Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes. So today's episode is with a revolutionist in the jadeite industry. And you will hear all about her story of finding her place in a traditional family business and making her mark, being a woman in a top position in a traditional space, and building her confidence one day at a time. She is from Burma and now based in Hong Kong, so let us get right into it. I'm so happy that you guys are joining us today, and with me, there is Cherry Guo. So she is the founder of Sane. Do you want to tell us a little bit more what Sane is all about?
Hi, Leanne. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm very excited to be here. Yeah, Sane is a jadeite, mainly jadeite jewelry brand. We want to, design jewelry for our generation, like contemporary, everyday wear and affordable 18 karat jadeite jewelry. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, that sounds great. Myself, I didn't know anything about jade before I met Cherry because for me personally, I feel like it's stuff that my parents would wear. I know that not all of you are from like Asian background, but in Asian cultures, jade is usually like we see our grandparents wearing it. So I was very surprised when I first met Cherry. She is a founder of a company that made jade. So can you tell us a little bit about your inspirations and why you chose jade? Because I have friends who do like jewelry design, like diamonds, gemstones, that's very trendy. So why jade in particular?
Right. I guess I was always, very interested in design and also business at the same time. So I was always looking for a platform where I can combine the two, because I think great designs should be treasured and I think is valuable. So I've always been trying to find a channel, and I think I'm very thankful that my family has always been in the jadeite industry. So actually when I was younger, I didn't really know about jade either. I had the same misconception as you. But I think it was the one summer after my undergrad where I went home to intern to, help out to see what I can do before going to master. So that was when I discovered like the beauty and also the lack of beautifully designed and wearable contemporary jadeite. So that's when I feel like it was this, light in me, like this kind of like message, giving me this light, like that, okay, this is the path. This is what I should do to combine, design and business together. Yeah. So that's how I think I found my passion, like at around, 24. Yeah, around 24. That's when I found my passion. And I think I'm very thankful for that. I think I realize not many people have that. I think when people talk to me, they don't understand why I'm so passionate and why I love it so much. But it's just that like perfect match of art and business that makes me, so excited about my job every day, because every day is so different. I get to do so many different things. I learn so many different things, and I'm a very curious person and I love to learn every day. Yeah. So it keeps me going.
I definitely agree that not a lot of people know their passion, or even though sometimes like their family showed them what they should do, or they have like family businesses, but it's not what they feel they should be doing. So yeah, I definitely think, wow, like you're very lucky to know. And going more into, learning from your family, learning from your parents, because, okay, honestly, for me, that is a little bit hard, because I will always see it as like, oh, that's what my parents used to do. And if I go into it, I will have my own ideas, and sometimes they might not receive it, in a right attitude. Can you share more with us, what it's like going into a family business? Because it does sound a little bit scary to me personally.
Yeah, like I said earlier, like I didn't really know what exactly my parents did with the jadeite, because my parents never really forced me or never even told me they wanted me to go back. They didn't give me any pressure, absolutely none. That's why I never even wanted to go back, because I just thought I had to do my own thing, and discover my own path. So I think it made it easier because my parents never gave me the pressure, and never kind of like gave me this, like a path and saying you have to do this or that. They are very supportive. Whatever I do, they're very supportive. Yes, supportive, but it's very tricky how I started this, because I chose a field they're in. It's quite like tough, but I think they're already really great parents that, still support it, even though they had quite so many questions in the beginning. Yeah. So I think first, why I actually stepped into family business is actually because the way my parents, like, the way they, guided me, it's more like very free. They allowed me to choose what I really love. I think that's why I also discovered what I love to do, So how I got in was, like I said, I actually interned at home, and that, I saw my parents, they have done so much. They're aging, and they really need us to help, because there's only or there's only so much they can do. But then to see their effort being wasted I think it hurts me, right? So I feel like I want to help them. That's one thing. But also, second, I saw an opportunity of this, doing this kind of contemporary and young jadeite. I think I have quite a foundation already. And if I don't do it, it's like everything my dad has done or my mom has done is probably going to be wasted, right? So, and I feel like that is like the knowledge that I want to learn and kind of carry on to the next generation, but with my own take. Yeah, that's where it gets tricky, because, in the beginning, we only did, more high jewelry, rare pieces, but I personally wouldn't wear it. And, I think a lot of my friends and a lot of young people wouldn't want to, or like, they wouldn't wear every day, and it would be hard to wear anywhere. So I think my first kind of, the easy ways to understand is that I wanted to make a piece that I will wear every day. My friends will wear every day. People around me would wear every day, and it's affordable, because before jadeite was not affordable. And that's why a lot of people don't understand it, and they don't want to go and understand, because, it's just totally out of their league. It's people only know it for, older people, and only for collecting, and not really for day to day. And I wanted to make jadeite come into our life every day. I think this is only the beginning, like starting with jewelry, because, I think all of you know how like jade roller and things like that. Like there's a lot of fun things we can do with jadeite, but like it takes, a little bit by little bit to build and to get there. Yeah. But starting with jewelry, because that was like the field that we're first in, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I think first of all, great job to your parents for, allowing you to kind of like do what you love.
Exactly. And not a lot of parents allow that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to accept what your kids want to do, because you always want them to make less mistake, right?
Exactly.
But then it's just, even for myself, I'm thinking, if one day I'm in the same situation, can I even do this for them? Like, I would always want to guide them, you know, because I have 4 brothers. So I always want to kind of like lay a path for them, which I realize is like, it's actually worse than letting them go and letting them find their path. Yeah. So my parents, like, this way of, educating us and bringing us up is actually quite great.
Yeah. So to me, just sitting here, like listening to a story, I can't help but wonder, is there any like big challenges or struggles to work with your parents or convey messages to them? Because I think some of the audiences might be wondering that, like, obviously I would say like generational gap or even like cultural knowledge that now we're so exposed to international things that like your parents might not understand. Have you ever experienced like challenges or struggles in those ways?
Yeah, for sure. Like very big challenges. You know, even though in the beginning my parents accepted the idea of me wanting to come back and make Jade young, they had no idea what that meant, you know, because I actually went into study GIA in New York to really learn what is jewelry. Yeah. Because even though my family was in jewelry, but I never knew what the jewelry field. I never understood, but I know that I want to do it in a way that, you know, I am professional. Yeah. You know, my brand is professional. We have a foundation of, you know, like knowledge, not just the traditional knowledge, but also internationally certified and like believed, you know, knowledge. So I actually decided to study GIA in New York for a year. So like gemologist and design. Yeah. So that's actually where I learned what is doing jewelry, you know, like what is the jewelry business. Yeah. So I think that helped in a way to persuade my parents because, you know, I think the hardest thing was, gaining their trust. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's not that they don't trust me as a daughter, but as in like, as an employee, I'm still gonna have to be their employee, right? Like, why should they trust me? Yeah. You know, I haven't done anything, you know, I'm like, this is my first job, right? But I'm taking on such a big role. So it's more like gaining their trust. So it's me, you know, kind of, bringing what I learned from the international platform like GIA, you know, because my professor was a designer for Tiffany. You know, so it's like I was exposed to a lot of, you know, like very experienced jewelry designers or like people who founded their brand or same as me, like a lot of other like diamond families, you know. So it was quite a very high platform to start with. You know, a lot of my friends now became like, you know, start working in different field like auction houses. So it's like it's those maybe information or like network that allow me to kind of persuade my parents that I have discussed and this is the right way, you know, things like that. Because what I do is like totally out of the box. Yeah. It shook my parents or I could say it shook the whole jadeite like industry, you know. They're like, what are you doing with these little pieces? Or like, I can't even barely see it. Or like, why are you doing it this way? You know, because in jadeite, there's a certain way of doing things and I never abide by to it sometimes. Like the ones that I abide by to or the ones that I stuck to is the ones that I believe is what we will carry on in the next generations on generation. And certain things that I didn't choose to take on into my brand is I think, you know, it's some of the ways of doing things that I think is not as professional. Yeah. So it was a belief, like how to gain their trust, you know, and that was the hardest part, I think. Yeah. Once you gain the trust, I think anything small decision, it comes along, it falls along. Yeah.
Honestly, I can definitely relate to that because like, you're doing podcasts, like influencer, online, social media type of thing. It's so a totally different world to my parents. Yeah. And when I say it, when it comes out from my mouth, like, okay, now I'm taking photos, I'm like filming videos and people are paying me, it sounds a bit ridiculous to them. Yeah. So they need to also hear it from someone else, someone from like higher position, or when they like see it in like a legitimate news and they, okay, maybe this is true. And they slowly like trust what you're doing. Yeah. So I know that, like, obviously you were saying that you do things differently. And honestly, that is literally the main theme of this podcast. Like, you know, breaking conventions and like doing things differently. So is there anything you can share with us? Because I'm personally not very familiar with like the Burmese culture. So you're from Burma and you mentioned you have like four brothers. Can you share with us what it's like to be a woman in such a top position in a big company, managing so many different things? Like, is there anything you can share with us?
Yeah, for sure. I think, again, it starts from the parents, because it's not that normal, I guess, for a woman, especially in Burma, to have so much passion and have so much drive to want to do a brand or a company, is quite rare. Yeah. I don't see that I'm successful or anything. I'm not even close. But in Burma, to have this, because most women just stays home and have kids, and that's pretty much it. Like, they support their husband on the side. So I never saw myself being able to do that. Like, also because the way my parents brought me up, like, they always brought us up equally. Yeah. Everyone was equal. So that's why I always knew I had to work hard. Yeah. I always had to, prove myself to my parents. I want to make them proud, and they've worked really hard for us. So I want to make them proud and, also like build on top of what they've already created. So I always had this, like, family was kind of like my biggest kind of like religion, like I want to make them proud. I want to do good for them. I want to take care of them. So it's like, it's a family that roots me, and then comes like, and then I was always treated equally. So I always had to, and I was the oldest. So I had to, set examples for my brother, right? So that's why I think I was more like driven in career as well, or like in life. Like, I want to live life to the fullest, and experience life and work hard and all this kind of very positive, values. I think, so that's the reason why. And it's, so once your family or your atmosphere or people you surround yourself is the same, then it's really not that hard to keep this kind of, energy.
Just listening to you, what I'm taking is that, so I know even some of us might not have an as supportive family. I think, like you mentioned, your goal to support your family, to show a good example, to be a good influence. I think that as a purpose is super important. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be family, but just anything. Like, just you wanting to do good.
Sometimes when you are living outside, it might not be your maternal family. That's family. It could be like just friends become your family. Like, for example, I live in Hong Kong most of the time, like by myself, and I've actually built a very strong, like, friends that I call family. And I think when I'm saying family, sometimes, like, family is, you can also choose your family, because now friends become your family, right? So I think as long as you have that, like, you trust each other and you support each other, I think that's like such a strong energy that really keeps you going in anything. Like, you have a bad day, when you have a great, like, support system, you can do anything. It's the strongest energy.
I actually have like personal experience with, like, finding support, because I've gotten some, like, messages from, like, my followers or, like, my listeners saying that, like, they never really have, like, a close group of friends or, like, people who support them. But I definitely feel like sometimes you need to reach out. Like, you need to reach out for help.
Like,
and
lean in,
exactly.
You
and
need
like
to be the first to approach. Sometimes, like, it's because I think everyone has a different personality. So I think, like, when you tend to have a more kind of open and open-minded, or open and, like, reach out, or passionate personality, I think, it's good to be the first one to speak, reach out, and then, they will come along, because some people's personality is just more, they don't like to reach out. But once you do reach out to them, like, they get really touched, and then, you build a very great bond, So I really believe that's, it's such a nice relationship to have.
Yeah, definitely. Just adding on to what the audiences might question. So now, like, obviously you've built this very big company, I would say, like, as a third person, I would say. So how do you build that confidence or, like, self-belief to believe that you can, like, do anything? I know you mentioned, like, family is a really big influence, but, other than that, as an entrepreneur myself as well, I know that there must be, like, bad days, like days where you just feel like so bad, where you doubt yourself. So how do you keep yourself motivated?
Right. I think, building confidence, I think a lot of people can relate. It's not like, it doesn't come from just other people helping you, but it comes from yourself. And it doesn't just happen in one day. I think it's over time. Like, it's like a curve that goes positively, but maybe slowly with a lot of bumps, like it goes down and up and down, but it's a positive trend in general, right? Yeah. So yeah, like there was, a lot of time I go being not confident and then confident again and a little bit more confident this time. And the next time, less confident again. And then it goes up. But I think, my conclusion is that you have to help yourself and you have to find your way to be confident. And it's not a very sustainable way to depend on someone for your confidence. Because once I was actually very dependent on other people for my confidence. Or putting other people down to be confident. Not me, but I think sometimes you would do this, some people don't do it unconsciously.
Yes.
Or maybe I've done that, I don't know. But I think ultimately, you have to find confidence in yourself and know what makes you feel happy and confident. I think confident comes from happiness and, a different thing, working out or things like that, body image, right? Different ways can make you confident, your work, your relationship, many parts builds your confidence, right? So I think overall it's you who have to take the initiative to work to gain confidence. You can't just sit there and gain confidence. It doesn't work. Yeah. So I think it takes time. So I think we all need to be patient. From my experience, I was definitely not very patient, but I had support, that was one. But then using that support to apply and to take action. Taking action is very important to being confident, to do something that you feel happy, that makes you just one little thing at a time, one thing in a day. And then that will add up to be confident. I'm not saying I'm so not close to being totally get to where I am yet. I am not successful, but I know what I do every day, I hope I can get there, and then, so I feel like that's my understanding of building confidence. Yeah.
I love that, first of all, because I think, honestly, it's so hard to reach 100% confidence. And
it's always you're always upward trend, but sometimes you'll go down. Like someday you just don't feel happy. But the next day you'll feel maybe happier, because you did something today when you weren't happy. You worked hard to build your happiness for tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening to Beyond the Label podcast. In this short break, I want to talk about your business. If you have a business, you need a website. What's the best way to get a website up and running? Choose a website hosting company that makes it simple, like Pair Networks. Pair has over 20 years of experience managing the entire digital ecosystem for thousands of online businesses all around the world. Pair makes it easy for you with do-it-yourself website building tools and features, including simple drag and drop page design. And they have guaranteed US-based support technicians ready to help you whenever you need it. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, when you sign up with Pair Networks, you'll receive 1 free month of web hosting. See for yourself how easy it is to build your website for free. Visit pair.com/free to get your first month of website hosting for free by using the code QUICKSTART. That's pair.com/free, promo code QUICKSTART to get started today. I love how you mentioned that you have to take action, because I definitely think a lot of people confuse, asking people for support and asking for help, and they receive it, but then you also need to use that support as motivation, as a pushing force for you to do things that actually makes you feel good and to do things that actually helps you build confidence, and I think in a more permanent way. Yeah,
you need to take the action to actually gain the confidence, you know, like, yes, hearing it is a first step, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to really like do it for yourself. That's why I said, like, one is take action, two is you have to, no one can help you. Ultimately, it's you that can help yourself. Yeah. And be patient. Yeah. Being patient is very important.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Wow. So I know that we've already mentioned you're from Burma. You live in Hong Kong for most of the time. So that already shows how well traveled you are in China. Okay. Yeah. Because, you speak like fluent Chinese. Yeah. So that feels so like overwhelming. Like for me, who's only like, okay, traveled to like different places, but only for a short period of time. So can you share a bit about like what it's like being a world citizen? What are the like best and worst thing about that?
Yeah, definitely. This is one thing that I think also, you know, I think I'm very, first I want to like give a kind of summary of why this is amazing. Like being able to have lived in different places and somehow picked up the best of kind of like each culture or, you know, like place. So I feel like, you know, we always say the best of both worlds. I feel like that I could have maybe picked up the best of many worlds. Yeah. So I think it's like, it gives you such a, like, opens up your horizon. Like, I think traveling and living is quite different. Yeah. And I would say I've lived in Burma, Hong Kong, China, and US. So I feel like, and when I live there, I really like to, you know, live like a local. Like, I want to experience what, you know, people experience in local, or try to learn their culture, or, you know, language, food, their costume, like their traditional outfit. I think those really interest me. So I think being able to have lived in so many places really opens up my horizon. And I think, and now me being able to put that into my brand, I think it's really amazing, because I think it's that, daily, everything that I've collected, you know, from like places that I've collected in my little pocket that I can maybe share with the audience and share with our, you know, followers of our brand. I think that's, like quite amazing. Share with more people.
Okay, is there like any experience that just like randomly like comes into your head right now that is like the most unexpected, or that is most shocking, or that like most memorable, wherever it is? Just like one like simple little thing that pops into your head.
Well, I think, you know, before coming to Hong Kong for university, I was in China in international school. And then, you know, the orientation for international school is like just chilling and, you know, like hanging out with friends and meeting new friends. But like, I didn't know orientation camp in Hong Kong is very intense. So I think that was like the first kind of experience for me to experience Hong Kong, like the local culture, you know. I think that was a very shocking, like at the moment, I think it was so painful and I felt like I wanted to cry, because, you know, literally the camp was like from morning to like midnight. We had to play these crazy games with like people that I've never met, you know, strangers. Oh my God. So it was quite intense, you know, and it was like my freshman year, first time leaving home, going for university. So I think that was a very shocking, like culture shock, you know. But I think it was great thinking about it now, because if I haven't done that, I wouldn't really know like how it's like to be here. And now I call Hong Kong my second home, like, you know, so it's like now I really understand the local culture, because I've went through the, you know, the system and the, you know, the experiences. So that was quite fun. And now, at the time it was like, I want to cry, but now I'm like, it was good. I tried that, you know.
I love how you say that, even though it was not a good experience at the time, but when you look back, it's like so many of other things that we experience in life that at the moment, it's just so difficult to like get through. But then after you look back at it, it's actually, okay, like this helped me a lot.
I think a lot of the time, I have a lot of those experiences where it's so painful at the time. And then, but like once I tried that one, you know, I've tried that once and I realized, oh, it's if I just am patient, that's why I mentioned patient, because you know, like, this is not like fixed, it's just temporary. So enjoy the moment. Like, yeah, it's very important, I think. Yeah.
I absolutely agree with that. So we're actually now down to the last question of the podcast. So what do you love most about yourself?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say like I love, I would just say I'm thankful to have this quality, you know. Yeah, I think the quality that I love that I have is, you know, as you can already feel, like my passion. I think that is something I feel like I'm very thankful I have that, you know. So passion, because it keeps me going on a very hard day. No matter if it's confidence or belief or whatnot, like it keeps you going on a hard day. And I think that is the key to doing many things, and keep the passion. So I also feel like you have so much passion. That's why I feel like we're like, you know, when we meet, we just have nonstop, like we always keep talking, like can't stop talking, because it's like our two passion collide, you know. So I feel like keep the passion going, like, and I want to support more girls to like believe in their passion, believe in their dream, and, you know, like work hard together to support each other and to make our passion and dream come true. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful and beautiful, because passion is one of the most important things that we need in order to do other things. For sure. So how can the audiences find you or find your brand? So can you share with us your social media, like Instagram handles or like websites, when they want to find more like of your collections?
Yeah. So you can find Sane on Instagram, also on WeChat. We're just SEINNJADE. Also like other platforms like Red, like Xiaohongshu, you know, and my own handle is OIC Cherry. So yeah, you can find us all on a different platform, even Facebook. Just search SEINN, Sane, and you can find us. Yeah. Thank you so much, Leanne. I had such a great time talking to you today.
Thank you so much as well. And everyone, stay tuned for another video that's coming up. So that's going to feature more of Cherry's Sane collection and a lot more about the in-depth knowledge of Jade. So check that out. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond the Label. Don't forget to subscribe and to follow our Instagram @The Blue Journal for your daily dose of self-love.